Yo, what is up guys, Gray here, and today we have got our week 5 battle of the BBR where we'll be going up against SirJorgeDeGreat and his Falinks De Guadalajara. I believe that's how it's pronounced, but I don't speak Spanish. I don't exactly know. I'm sure that Jorge will correct me if I'm wrong. But, what was wrong with Sana and Eggies? It was so much easier to pronounce, but I guess he just likes to torture us. If you don't know who my opponent is, make sure to go and check him out. His link will be down in the description below, as well as all the other coaches in the BBR for this season. This man has the best thumbnail game in all of Draft League. Like, hands down, the best. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. It's factually, you're wrong. His thumbnails have just got more and more wild as the seasons have gone on. And honestly, it's one of the highlights of my week. And yeah, he's a really great guy as well. So yeah, definitely go and make sure to check him out. But without going on too much, let's get straight into the team builder. Looking at his team is Mamoswine, Slowbro, Heatran, Regieleki, Durant, Sharpedo, Colossal, Duskmar, Gerda, Lone Executor, and Solrock. His hazard says he's got Solrock, Mamoswine, and Colossal for Stealth Rock, as well as Spikes on Colossal. Hazard removal, Colossal with Rapid Spin, as well as Regieleki, and Gerda with Defog. His Clerics being Alolan Executor with Wish, and Heatran with Aromatherapy and Healing Wish. And he has a ton of pivots, with Regieleki getting Volt Switch, Solrock, Durant, and Heatran getting Baton Pass. Slowbro and Alolan Executor have Teleport, and Sharpedo gets Flip Turn. So, looking at this matchup, first off, his team just looks a little bit weird. I kind of looked at it and I was like, well, it's a little underwhelming. He has what is effectively like a team of tier 2s. Like, he has about 3 tier 2s, I would say, 3 or 4, depending on your opinion on Regieleki. And then, like, I don't know, his team just looks a little bit odd on paper, but that's because he picked Alolan Executor round 1. I commend him. He's an absolute mad lad for it, but I absolutely commend him for picking up Alolan Executor round 1. I bailed out and picked up Zygarde. I could only apologize to Jorge. I broke the pact that we had last season where both of us picked Executor round 1 with our first with like pick 1 and 5, I think it was. So yeah, he did pick up the Alolan Executor round 1, and I think because of that his team kind of paid for it a little bit. But after looking at the matchup, I was like, this team actually is just absolutely nuts against mine. My defensive checks don't exist. Effectively, Mamoswine just beats my entire team. He basically 11-0s my team. The combination of ice and ground is something I really, really struggle with, especially on such an offensive mon. The speed tier is just good enough to be able to outspeed the things that realistically will be able to kill it. So that's a bit of a problem. Slowbro is a really nice defensive pivot against our team. It's able to check things like the Heatran, the Zygarde, Tapu Fini. It can switch into Galarian Slowking. By the way, we traded Galarian Articuno for a Galarian Slowking. We got that now. Probably should have mentioned that at the start of the video, but it would have come up anyway because, I'm going through my team anyway, so it doesn't check the Decidueye at all, but it can check Lycanroc, it can check the Marwile, it can check Greedent, and it can, to an extent, I can't check Pinsir, what am I talking about? But yeah, it checks a lot of our team. Heatran has an interesting matchup. It's his second Psychic in 3 picks, but Heatran, it could be good under Trick Room, but at the same time I feel like we have a lot of things that are able to beat it. It really can't do too much to Heatran, it can't do too much to Galarian Slowking. Honestly, it's not really doing much to Tapu Fini at all, and if it's running like Calm Mind, Trick Room, then it's only got 2 moves. And honestly, I don't think any 2 moves will be able to like break through our team. If it's just running Trick Room, then we're able to beat it 1v1 with quite a few things on our team because it's not boosting its special attack. So yeah, I think Heatran has a weird matchup. I don't expect it to turn up, but there's definitely an opportunity. Regieleki, if I don't play certain mons right on my team, has a chance just to blow my team away. It does ridiculous amounts of damage. With Choice Specs Modest, because Modest with some bulk is still able to outspeed my entire team, plus some Scarfers as well. It's just, that speed stat is just absurd. Yeah, it's able to kind of blast through a lot of my team. It does lack any coverage outside of Electric, Normal, and Rock, I believe, on the special side. So if it's running Choice Specs, it will be pretty much hard-walled by our Zygarde. But honestly, it's a huge threat to our team. Durant, speaking of huge threats, this thing can actually 2-hit KO our entire team. There's a couple of things that are able to, depending on his set, be able to take one, be able to take two quite comfortably. But if he runs like Home Claws and gets into a position where it could be out of control and just win effectively. Like, Durant is super scary against our team. If we don't see it, then I'll be much happier. There's a chance we don't see it because we do have things like Heatran. Honestly, that's it. We have Heatran, and I'm hoping that's enough for him to not want to bring it. Sharpedo has a fantastic matchup against us. However, it's kind of limited in what moves it wants to run. You got Liquidation, Crunch. You got Ice Fang or Ice Beam is definitely a possibility. It wants to kind of run Close Combat. It wants to run Poison Jab. Kind of wants to run Protect as well, just in case I have a Choice Scarfer. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think that Sharpedo has a lot of potential to be able to just tear through our team. So we've got to watch out for that. And with Speed Boost, it's obviously going to be just outspeeding any Scarfers we got pretty quickly. The upside is that it's very, very frail, and we should be able to revenge kill it quite comfortably. As long as we have our pieces to revenge kill it, we should be able to do it fairly comfortably. Colossal, I think, has a terrible matchup. We have Zygarde that just wipes it out. Tapu Fini, same case. Honestly, like, if it's entirely special, Galarian Slowking doesn't really care. Decidueye can do a ton of damage to it. Lycanroc gets Drill Run, and also Close Combat that does a load of damage to Colossal. Pangoro, again, just beats it. And Greedent and Pinsir can both learn ground-type moves that just kind of blow it away as well. So I don't see Colossal turning up, but if it does turn up, we do have our things to be able to deal with it. Like I said, there's plenty of things that just naturally beat it on our team. So I think the one thing we'd have to watch out for is any kind of like weakness policy steam engine set, I guess. If we accidentally activate it with like a fire type move, I don't think it's living a water type move from like Tapu Fini. So I could be wrong on that. By all means, I could be wrong. But like a steam engine set, I think, is the one thing that could potentially cause us issues. And even then, I feel like it's not that bad because we can still bring in multiple things that can check it. Dusknoir is really annoying for our team, especially if it's like an Assault Vest set. Also, the like a Coalberry set with Will-O-Wisp could be really annoying. It just kind of needs 3 attacks to be able to hit our entire team, or near enough our entire team. If it runs a Poltergeist, Ice Punch, and then like either Earthquake or Drain Punch, I think it gets Drain Punch, any kind of fighting move, it's enough to be able to kind of break through our entire team or just be really annoying to our entire team. We don't really want to take a Poltergeist on something like Tapu Fini or Pangoro particularly, but we definitely don't want to take a Will-O-Wisp on Pangoro at all. Yeah, so Dusknoir could be very annoying. Gerda, again, could be really, really annoying. I could definitely see it turning up. It's able to check things like the Zygarde pretty well. It checks the Heatran relatively well. It can, to an extent, check things like Decidueye, Lycanroc, Pangoro, Marwile, Greedent, and Pinsir. Like, it can check a lot of things on the defensive side. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gerda turned up. It definitely has a decent matchup, but we are relatively well prepared for it, I would say. Also, as coverage, it can just run like Knockoff, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, and maybe Bulk Up, and it could be a real problem for our team. But like I said, I think we've got just enough to be able to deal with it. It can be very frustrating to deal with, but we should be alright. Alolan Exeggutor has a weird matchup. I think a Trick Room set could actually be entirely viable here, but outside of that, I think it just loses to too many things. Zygarde can hit with a Dragon-type move. Heatran can just kind of do a massive amount with like an Eruption or just any Fire-type move. Tapu Fini obviously beats it. Galarian Slowking beats it. Decidueye can beat it with Hurricane. Lycanroc gets Play Rough. Pangoro gets Ice Punch. Rotom Fan beats it. Marwile gets an Ice-type move. Greedent gets Ice Fang. Pinsir just beats it. So like Alolan Exeggutor in a Trick Room could do something, but outside of Trick Room, it's not good in this matchup. And then Solrock exists. So if he brings Solrock, I will be absolutely shocked, and I would have had my mind blown effectively by him bringing Solrock, but if it turns up, we'll work our way around it. So let's get onto our team. So first up, we have got our Decidueye. With the Choice Scarf this week, I was going back and forth about running Choice Scarf or Choice Specs. I decided in the end Choice Scarf is more beneficial because it does force his Mamoswine, unless it's Choice Scarf himself, to be able to lock himself effectively into Ice Shard instead. I say lock himself, it could definitely be like Adamant Life Orb. That is entirely possible as well. But it means that he's pretty much forced to click the Ice Shard instead of any other move that would just one-shot me. We are running the Modest Nature with the Overgrow, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, Hurricane, and U-Turn. Realistically, he does not have a switch into this thing. So, looking at his team, his Grass Resists are Durant and Alolan Executor. Alolan Executor, like we said, don't think is going to turn up. And Durant has base 48 SPDF and 58 HP. So it doesn't necessarily appreciate an Energy Ball too much. It does obviously Times 4 resist it, so it does take the hit. But it does have to be wary of potential Shadow Ball as well. Outside of that, his Shadow Ball switch-in is Sharpedo. He does not have a single resist outside of that. He doesn't have a normal type for an immunity. And he has 3 weaknesses to Ghost. So, yeah, honestly, Sharpedo is not the best check to Decidueye by any means, because firstly I click Energy Ball, and also Shadow Ball is still doing like 50% because it's a Sharpedo. It has literally no defenses. Its best switch in to this is probably Girder or Girder. That is honestly Girder or Colossal, I guess, are his best switch ins to this. And we have Hurricane for the Girder. We'll be able to very slowly wear down the Colossal regardless with Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, all that sort of stuff. We do have U-Turn just in case we want to pivot for some reason, but honestly, I think with Decidueye, we just want to be running, just want to be clicking moves effectively. I'm actually tempted to exchange U-Turn for Leaf Storm. That's a change you might see for the game. But for now, we're running U-Turn. If we go for Leaf Storm over U-Turn, entirely just for damage purposes, like we can pretty much OHKO anything that's weak or resistant from like a good range with Leaf Storm. So that's our Decidueye. Next up, we've got our Choice Band Zygarde with the Adamant Nature and plenty of defensive bulk. Earthquake, Scale Shot, Extreme Speed, and Skitter Smack. This is pretty much all the coverage you need. Like I said, Solrock is a thing, but I don't expect it to turn up. If it did, then Earthquake it becomes less spammable. He does not have a single flying type on his team. So Earthquake is pretty much free. We don't have to run 1,000 arrows and have a weaker move. Solrock being his one ground immunity on his team, honestly, I don't think it's a good bring against my team whatsoever. There's everything that beats it on my team. So yeah, I don't expect him to bring his third psychic type on his team being Solrock. Sorry, he has 4 weaknesses to Ghost with only 1 resist. Yeah, so why does he have 3 psychic types? Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. Skitter Smack obviously is there because he has those many psychic types, and also it's really nice to lower the special attack of things like Slowbro, I guess Regieleki, but honestly, like, it's Regieleki, it can't touch me anyway. Maybe like a special Sharpedo of Ice Beam and potentially a special Colossal. It's nice just to get that special attack drop, because we're able to take an Ice Beam a little bit better, we're able to take like a Draining Kiss from Heatran a bit better. Outside of that, if we don't see Heatran, which I don't know if we will because it doesn't have the greatest matchup, Scale Shot becomes very spammable, and if I'm lucky and get 5 hits on Slowbro, it does well over half, so that'd be really nice. And also it gives us the speed boost, so that means that Mamoswine, yet again, has to click the Ice Shard to be able to knock us out afterwards, and we can really play around that much easier. So outside of that, we've got Extreme Speed. Extreme Speed will OHKO Sharpedo after 1 round of Life Orb, assuming it's Life Orb. I should actually just OHKO generally, or at least it's a roll to OHKO regardless. But especially if he is like a mix set and he decides to run like a Hasty Nature or something like that, then we definitely OHKO with Extreme Speed. It's also nice to pick off things like the Regieleki potentially. You can take the Mamoswine later as long as the Mamoswine is chipped down. Other than that, it just does like tons of work with Earthquake. It can do so much damage. The only thing that really wants to switch into it is the Slowbro, and if we're able to get rid of the Slowbro, then honestly, Zygarde kind of just goes in. And not to mention that his Dragon Resist is, Durant outside of Heatran. So again, Durant doesn't necessarily want to take scale shots. It doesn't want to take an Earthquake, that's for sure. So there's a chance that his Dragon Resist will be Durant that comes, and honestly, that's just 3 scale shots. Next up, we have got our newest acquisition. We have got our Galarian Slowbro with the Assault Vest and a Calm Nature. Plenty of Spadef as well. Sludge Bomb, Future Sight, Shadow Ball, and Focus Blast. This is actually our secondary check to Regieleki. It hard walls Heatran unless it's like Choice Specs Psyshock, and even then we should be able to take 2 of those just fine. It can do bits against Slowbro as well, because it really doesn't want to be poisoned Slowbro, because then it just doesn't take on the Zygarde at all. Ideally, we can take Slowbro's item and then poison it. That's like the optimal situation, because I think that he tends to want to click Teleport with Slowbro if he's in against my Slowking, because he probably doesn't want to switch anything in particularly on it. Sludge Bomb is really good against his team. His Poison Resist is Durant, and I guess Dusknoir if he brings it, but Dusknoir doesn't want to be poisoned, and Durant doesn't take a Focus Blast at all, so we're able to do a ton of damage to that. Future Sight is just there to potentially get some free damage. If he doesn't bring Sharpedo for some reason, then he doesn't actually have an immunity to it, and so it's just free chip. And Shadow Ball, Ghost coverage, is just amazing in this matchup. So Shadow Ball sitting the Slowbro, the Heatran, the Dusknoir, the Solrock, and it hits pretty much his entire team for neutral damage. So really, this is a fantastic secondary check to the Regieleki. I believe it's 3-hit, not 3-hit KO'd by Specs. Actually, I don't think it's 2-hit KO'd by Specs Regieleki Thunderbolt, so we should be able to take those hits just fine. And if we know that he locks himself into the electric type move, we can quite easily just go into our Zygarde, and at that point it's free Earthquake spam again. So yeah, we definitely need to try and play around the Regieleki if it comes, but at the same time I feel like we have Zygarde and Slowking that should be able to deal with it. If we lose both of them, then we're in for just a real bad time. But moving on, we have our choice scarf, our second choice scarfer, Tapu Fini, this week with a Bold Nature and Surf, Moonblast, Knockoff, and Trick. Honestly, I got Trick just to potentially be able to trick something like the Heatran or the Slowbro. Maybe the Sharpedo, give it a choice scarf so it's then locked into a move. Also pretty good for things like the Dusknoir, maybe the Girder as well, take away the Eviolite. But honestly, I'd rather just click Knockoff and keep my Scarf, because Knockoff is really nice for the Slowbro. Again, it's really nice for the Heatran. It's nice to knock off things like the Durant or the Sharpedo or the Dusknoir, Girder as well. There's so many things that don't appreciate the Trick at all. Outside of that, we got Surf to be able to hit the Mamoswine, and the Durant for really good damage. Obviously, it's Colossal as well. Then Moonblast pretty much hits his entire team outside of that for at least neutral or super effective damage. Moonblast is doing a lot to Regieleki. It's doing pretty good amounts to the Dusknoir as long as we don't, as long as it's not Assault Vest. Surf, honestly, the reason I have this as choice scarf is because I wanted something that wasn't weak to Mamoswine to be able to choice scarf and outspeed it. So we are actually designed to outspeed Durant, I believe. So we will be able to click Surf against that, and this is our best way of actually taking the hit against both Durant and Mamoswine. This is very physically defensive, so we can outspeed, get a hit off, take a hit, then outspeed again, and hopefully we'll be able to catch him off guard with our multiple Scarfers, and he won't expect it on the Tapu Fini. This could well be my lead, depending on the matchup. But I don't think he necessarily wants to lead Regieleki, just because me leading with Zygarde is really, really bad for him. So I don't think he wants to do that. And also it means that if we are met with Dusknoir, we can go hard into our Piloswine. And by Piloswine I mean Pangoro. Basically the same one. Honestly, they could be brothers. Yeah, we can go into our Pangoro, we don't have to fear the Will-O-Wisp, and we can just set up a sub, because that is actually our next set. Pangoro with the Shuffleberry, Adamant Nature with quite a bit of bulk as well. Drain Punch, Knockoff, Swords Dance, and Substitute. Kind of spoiling my own set, but yeah. We have SD and Sub. If we can actually keep our Substitute after we've Swords Danced, honestly, his team just crumbles. The combination of Dark Fighting is not appreciated by his team at all. Mamoswine is weak to it, Slowbro is weak to it, Durant is weak to it, Sharpedo is weak to it, Colossal is weak to it, Dust Noir is weak to it, and Solrock is weak to it. The things that aren't, firstly is Gerda, and after a knockoff, Gerda doesn't really want to take a +2 Drain Punch. Regieleki doesn't want to take a hit in general. Heatran doesn't appreciate knockoff at all, especially at +2. And then Alolan Exeggutor as well does not really appreciate taking a hit. It certainly won't want to lose its item, so if we're able to get up a sub and be at +2, we start really going in with this one. If we're able to just get to +2, generally we do have enough bulk to be able to take quite a few hits. As long as we don't sub, then after we Swords Dance, we'll be able to take a Iron Head from Durant, as long as it's not choice banded. We'll be able to take anything from Sharpedo, because we have the Chople, we aren't OHKO'd by close combat. We can take a Superpower from Durant, we can take a Drain Punch from Gerda, meaning we can guarantee a knockoff. We can also pretty much guarantee a Swords Dance against that thing as well. And then we have, there's just plenty of things for me to be able to set up on. And the only things that are actually quicker than this on his team are Solrock, which I don't think is coming, and then Sharpedo, Durant, Regieleki, and Mamoswine. Everything else is outsped on his team. So it's weirdly enough in a position where it's able to outspeed almost his entire team despite being base 58, and is able to put in a lot of work. Obviously we've got to watch out for any potential Trick Room, but at the same time Trick Room really works against him with Pangoro as well, because Mamoswine dies, Regieleki dies, Durant dies, Sharpedo dies. Like, if he sets up Trick Room at the wrong time and Pangoro is able to come in, Pangoro works amazingly on Trick Room. So yeah, that's our Pangoro set this week. And last off we have Choice Scarf number 3 on our team. Heatran with the Modest Nature and the Flame Body. Eruption, Flamethrower, Flash Cannon, and Earth Power. Pretty much the same set, just changed the EVs from last week. Heatran does a ton of work as a Choice Scarf for Eruption. Even if that Mamoswine is Assault Vest and Thick Fat, it's still taking like 90% from an Eruption, which is absolutely absurd. Slowbro is his best switch into it, and it still takes like 35% from max HP Eruption. Outside of that, Colossal is his only other switch into Eruption. He does not appreciate it at all. Flamethrower is there because, like I said, he doesn't appreciate fire type moves. And then we got Flash Cannon and Earth Power just to really hit the things that are able to take the hit just fine. I guess like we're not really hitting Slowbro for super effective damage, but any damage at all on Slowbro is greatly appreciated. Like, we're able to pivot in quite nicely with Slowbro as well, like we're around Slowbro, because we can just go into our Galarian Slowking, and he doesn't necessarily appreciate Slowking either. So again, I wanted something to outspeed the Mamoswine, and as long as it's not Choice Scarf, which I really don't think it will be, considering that he's going to be running Ice Shard, most likely. I don't think it'll be Scarfed, but if it is, then we'll be able to tell with our Tapu Fini, and hopefully we'll be able to knock it off. And once that Scarf is gone, honestly, his only other good Scarf option is Durant, and Sharpedo with Speed Boost is a problem. Regieleki is quick. Like, we should be able to take one hit from Regieleki, albeit it's actually kind of close because Regieleki is just that strong. Outside of that, like, literally it's Heatran can run through the entirety of his team. And the reason I'm running free Choice Scarfers this week is because, like I just said, his Choice Scarf options are really quite limited. Mamoswine and Durant, I think, are his only 2 possible Choice Scarf options. I guess maybe Regieleki. I doubt I'll see Choice Scarf Regieleki. Most likely going to be Choice Specs or Choice Band to try and catch something off. Then it's going to be like, after that, he is just a bunch of Slowmons. And if he runs Trick Room, then he got me. He's going to be outspeeding everything on my team effectively, but I mean, he's not bringing Regieleki then, and that's one of his biggest threats to my team. Durant also is a big threat to my team. I'm able to deal with that a bit better. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't see a good Trick Room build, and then the rest of his team is kind of slow. So if I can just Choice Scarf, and like I said, most of my Mons have like a really good matchup in terms of like being able to just deal out a lot of damage. It's really beneficial for me to be able to outspeed things like the Mamoswine and the Durant, because they're both things that hit my team super hard, and I don't want to keep taking that damage. So yeah, that's the plan for the battle. I think it's going to be very hit and miss. His team is like very scary for my team. I know I can do a lot of work with what I got, but at the same time, like I could very easily be caught off guard by something, and once one piece falls in this team, it does kind of crumble a little bit. And yeah, we're going to see how we do. I'm looking forward to this game. It's getting a little bit late, so I'm hoping we're able to get it done before I go to sleep. But if not, then I'll probably be playing it a different night. But that's just breaking the fourth wall. You don't need to know any of that. But yeah, I will see you guys in the battle. Hopefully it's a good one. And yeah, I'll see you there. Okay, so here we are for the battle. And like I said, we've got a layout, we've got a webcam. And if I keep looking over that side, that's because that's where it is. The lighting is way too bright, but that is because I got Showdown calcs on. But that's enough of that. We'll get straight into this. You're going to see all my nervous mannerisms and all sorts of shit that I do when I'm battling. He brings roughly what I was expecting. There is no Heatran. I think that's pretty much expected. He does bring Gerda and Dusk Noir, which are both a little bit annoying. The Durant and the Mamoswine obviously going to do a ton of work to our team, as is the Sharpedo. What did he not bring? Oh, he didn't bring the Regieleki, so actually Zygarde is a little bit more expendable in this matchup. I can use it more to check the Durant and the Sharpedo. It's not a good check to the Sharpedo, but I can keep it for E-Speed. I doubt he's brought Trick Room because he's only brought a Slowbro that can set it, and I guess Gerda and Dusk Noir could use it, but nothing else on his team really does. So the 3 Choice Scarf is looking pretty solid. I'm going to lead off with my Tapu Fini, because it's kind of what I was expecting to lead off with. And yeah, if we see something like Slowbro as the lead, then we can knock off. If we see Mamoswine, we can surf. Durant, we surf. Dusk Noir is a little bit annoying. We knock off that as well. And then Gerda, we can just Moonblast. But good luck, have fun to my opponent. I forget that his trainer card is him just like in the corner, but his team is surprisingly scary. I think this one is going to be a little bit harder than some people might think. He's going to deal with Bruce. That is the Sharpedo. That's fine with me. Honestly, I could quite freely just throw off a Moonblast. He might think he outspeeds me. And if we can no-go this turn 1, then that's one big threat just gone. He could also go into like his Slowbro or something like that. If he goes into Slowbro, I appreciate the chip damage, so we're just going to click Moonblast. And he may also want to just flip turn, again, expecting to outspeed me. But I think he's probably just going to switch. Yeah, he is. And he goes into Slowbro. Fantastic. We could have knocked off, but we do at least get to see whether or not he's leftovers here. So, and we should get a good amount of damage. We'll actually be able to check whether or not... That's definitely physically defensive. Is that a crit? That wasn't even a crit. That just did a lot of damage. I expect the teleport. I still want to go out into my Slowking. Again, Slowking's role in this game is slightly different, because he hasn't brought the Regieleki and any of his other special threats, really. He's just brought physical threats. So he's just going to teleport. I expect probably going back into the Sharpedo. And if that's the case, I kind of do want to just go back again into my Zygarde. If he goes into Dusk Noir, that's actually really good for us, because we can go into our Pangoro and just set up a sub. And he goes on to Mamoswine. This thing is the biggest problem against my team. By far the biggest problem. He just gets to click Earthquake here. So yeah, I'm just going to go back into my Tapu Fini. This is a situation we want to try and avoid as much as we can. And I think next time his Slowbro is in, I might just click Moonblast twice, because it did do a good amount of damage. Despite the fact we have like no investment, so that tells me that he is absolutely going to be defensive. We're going to want to calc this to see, tell what item it is. Choice Band Earthquake is going to 2 at Chaos. He's actually going to knock off. Like, that's fine by me. That does knock off our Choice Scarf, which sucks a little bit. But at the same time, I'm very tempted to just go for a knockoff in return, because the only things he could bring in are really like Dusknoir and Slowking. So knocking off either of those would be great. What's that choice banded damage? 17 to 20. I'll have a look how much health I was at. He does go back into Slowbro. So we do get to knock this thing's item off. And because we're not choice locked anymore, actually it's somewhat beneficial. Okay, it was Colbur. Cool, so now Pangoro actually can knock this out with a knockoff at +2. Outside of that, there's not too much to gain. I could go for Moonblast again. In fact, I think I'm just going to go for a Moonblast again. Now that I'm not choice locked, it does mean that I'm able to kind of hit this thing for more damage. And I can just kind of spam Moonblast a little bit more. So he just teleports. And maybe goes into the Durant. Durant is super scary against my team. So I need to be careful around that. Like, we're really not doing a lot of damage at the moment, but that's kind of fine. Goes into Scott Lang, that is the Durant. Do I just want to surf this? Like, Surf is doing a good amount of damage. Like 59 to 70 to his spread, I believe. And if you just Jolly Life Orb, it's... So we're at 145. What's the choice band on the... it was choice banded. Adamant choice band, it looks like, on Mamoswine. Yeah, I think I just want to surf. I could also go into my... Could go into Zygarde. No, I'm just going to surf. I still have things that can like do a good amount of damage, and that's exactly what I didn't want to happen, was that he gets a free Home Claws up. I could have been kind of brave and gone into my Heatran there, but I don't think it was necessarily worth it. A +1 Life Orb, doing 68 to 80. It still doesn't knock me out, and I could actually just take this thing out. I quite like that. But at the same time, I kind of don't like that. If I lose Heatran, do I lose the game? It's not ideal. But I'd rather keep this round just to be able to switch in. At least, I mean, it's not outspeeding anymore. The Mamoswine is still a big issue. I think he just goes for an Iron Head here. If he predicts that, my Heatran coming in, and goes for a Superpower, then that's a really good play. But I really don't want to lose my Tapu Fini this early. It goes for the Iron Head, okay. It's going to do a good amount of damage. But that was a crit. I was going to say that did a lot of damage, and we do get a Flame Body, so... This thing is no longer much of an issue. He's probably just going to go for the Superpower, I would assume. We should outspeed this. I believe that, yeah, I believe this set is able to outspeed any variant. So I'm just going to go for a Flamethrower, but he goes into Slowbro, he goes into Slowbro. Okay, he outspeeds. That's unfortunate. I should have probably switched. What was my speed creep on this then? I thought I had enough speed to outspeed it. I guess not. I guess... I guess not. What? My speed creep should be for Jolly Durant. Has that been misgened? I'll have to have a look at that. Because it should be modest. That's really weird. It's also... That really sucks for me. Because... I mean, I can just go into Zygarde now and click Extreme Speed. But that's just really weird. Like, there's a chance that it's been misgenned. It's the one time that I don't use the genning bot, and it does appear to have cost me my Heatran. That's just super unfortunate, unless I'm missing something. Just going to extreme speed this, that's fine. He can go into Slowbro after if he wants to, he can go into Mamoswine as well. But I don't know what happened there, like, our Heatran is 178 speed, and Jolly Durant is 177. So that's really weird. I'll have to have a look at that after the game, but just go into Slowbro. He's probably going to teleport, but do I want to bring in... You know what, I'm just going to go hard into Decidueye. He could go for the Ice Beam, which would suck. But I don't think he would expect me to stay in here. I should have just gone into my Tapu Fini. That was a much better play. Yeah, he just goes for Ice Beam. I'm playing so badly. I just need to get into... I've been thrown off by that. Yeah, thrown off by that turn. Okay, so we don't take an Ice Shard now from the Mamoswine. I don't think we took one anyway because he was choice banded. But he honestly doesn't have a switch into Leaf Storm. He doesn't have a switch into Shadow Ball either. So I'm just going to click Leaf Storm. He may go into Dusknoir, and if he does, then like we have our switch-ins to that. This should do enough damage. Yeah, it does. Okay, so Zygarde's best check is gone, which is really nice. Whenever Dusknoir comes in, we can hopefully get our Pangoro in for free. Reminds too, I expect the Mamo to come in here, 100%. But I played way too recklessly, I think, bringing in my Decidueye there. I do kind of need the health for it. But I don't think, regardless, I was able to live. Man, losing Heatran really sucks. I would have lived an Ice Shard at max health, but I sent him Pac-Man. That's a Dusknoir. Probably just going to click Poltergeist. He's pressure as well, so he doesn't see what items we are. Yeah, I'm just going to go... I'm going to go hard into my Pangoro. And immediately put the pressure on. He'll probably go into Girder afterwards. So do I want to just Swords Dance? I think I always want to sub. So he just goes Shadow Sneak. I guess not wanting to be outsped, but... yeah, I think I just want to sub. Because there's not really all that much now that's too scary for me. And I cannot play accordingly, I can just... yeah, I'm expecting Girder to come in. Girder being one of the things now that can deal with my Zygarde. Now, if he goes for a Willow here, that's like best case scenario. If he has the fighting move, then that's like worst case. He goes to Earthquake. I don't know if this breaks my sub. It'd be very unfortunate if it did. It does. Ah, that's annoying. I'm surprised he stayed in. I'm going to assume that this is... Earthquake just breaks my sub. That's unfortunate. I should probably look at that calc first. Unless he's Colbur, then Knockoff will do a lot of damage. So I'm just going to knock. He's not Colbur. And that is, yeah, that's really good damage. This should do about 26. Looks like it's, yeah, it's adamant. And honestly, I'm just going to knock off again. This thing is annoying for Tapu Fini. And Fini can still live one Earthquake from Mamoswine, so it's not by any means over. And I think it is choice banded. From the damage that it did earlier, there was no reason for it to do that much. Yeah, there's no reason for it to do that much if it wasn't choice banded. Mamoswine can definitely come in here. Goes into Bender. I'm guessing that is the Girder. Yeah. What do I want to do here? Honestly, I could go into... yeah, I could go into my Slowking, because it's kind of the most useless thing on my team. And I don't think he's going to go for a knockoff on this turn by any means. And I don't think that I'm going to be taking too much from a Girder. Like, knockoff will do a good amount, actually. If it's bulk up, gonna hurt. But we can Future Sight and get a good amount of damage off. Maybe I should have actually just stayed in and knocked that off, but I want some damage on this first. Just Mach Punches. That is absolutely fine by me. I'm going to Future Sight. He doesn't really want to switch into this. Like, he doesn't switch into this Mon particularly well at all. In fact, he's going to switch. I kind of wish I just clicked Sludge Bomb. Goes into Bruce. That's the Sharpedo. I am genuinely shocked that he went into it, but we're going to Future Sight and then I think go back out into Pangoro. Yeah, I'm going to go back out into Pangoro and just click Drain Punch, because I don't see any reason. Like, he might flip turn here. I guess that's like worst case for me if he flip turns. Just Liquidations, that will knock us out. Hopefully we see the Life Orb, because if he Life Orbs takes Life Orb damage, then we can actually knock this out of Extreme Speed. We don't really have anything else in this situation. So, yeah, I'm just going to go into Zygarde. If he goes out into Girder on this, that's fine. Like, sure, I've shown that Weezing is my Slowking is my switch-in, but like, even if he knocks that off, I think it's fine. Also, if he wants to switch out here, then he effectively loses him on. And I'm happy to trade Zygarde. Like, this should do enough. Yep. Cool, that's the Sharpedo gone. That was a big problem for my team. Man, I'm still annoyed that Heatran died, because it just won. At least, but I didn't just win. Like, obviously he had Mach Punch on Girder, but it would have been able to deal with the Mamoswine, which at this point is looking really scary. Do I want just to attack the Mamoswine if it comes in? It is going to be the Mamo. How much is E-Speed? E-Speed will do 40 to 48. That's really good damage. There's not a lot else realistically that I can do. So yeah, I'm just going to click Extreme Speed, get my damage, and then go into Tapu Fini. Because Surf should then be able to knock it out. He's going to Earthquake, so he's going to take 2 of these. That does so much. That does so much damage. Yeah, that's 100% banded. Second E-Speed. I mean, can my Decidueye take that hit? 50 to 59. What damage was I at with my Decidueye? 87. So I don't think it can. 52. It'll be a roll. So yeah, I just E-Speed again. I have absolutely no reason not to. If he wants to go into Girder, he can go into Girder. Like, I could have called that if I wanted to, but I didn't see any reason to. As long as I keep my Fini healthy at this point, then I'm in a good spot. So I'm going to go once again into my Slowking. Like, if I had to lose my Slowking to win this game, then that's fine by me. And I just Future Sight, because whatever he wants to do, like, the knockoff is more unlikely coming here. I think that's a pretty obvious. Actually goes Power Up Punch. Yeah, I believe I can still take this hit. And I'm just going to throw off a Future Sight. I should by all means be able to take this hit. Thunder Punch. I will definitely take that hit. Yeah, be able to throw off a Future Sight. Can we take a +1 on our Decidueye? +1 Thunder Punch. I mean, we should. We absolutely should be able to. Do you just want to go into that and kill it now? I think that's a better play. If he knocks off here, he knocks off. Like, he's choice banded, so as long as I still have both Zygarde and my Tapu Fini around, he can't actually, like, he can't beat the combination. That was a crit. And the para. Jeez. Future Sight goes off on the next turn, I believe. So, yeah, with that in mind, I'm just going to go back into my Slowking. Because this then means that he has to click Earthquake. Yeah, he had to click Earthquake to knock me out. And Future Sight should do enough. Yeah, it does. Cool. So just the Mamoswine left, and it should be able to lock itself into one move that will be able to do enough to my remaining Pokemon. He's absolutely going to go for the Earthquake. Like, that's the only thing he can do. Maybe Knockoff? Knockoff's not doing enough. Do I want Slowking to go down? Or do I want Decidueye to go down? I get to choose my sack here. I think we'll go Decidueye. I don't want Slowking to be knocked out on its debut. Yeah, I don't want Slowking to be knocked out on its debut. So. And we should, again, should be able to live. I think, like, potentially a crit is the only thing that's really worrying me at this point. He's going to go for the Earthquake. Which is definitely doing enough to my Zygarde, but has my Zygarde got enough speed to outspeed this? I mean, outspeed's adamant, but I have really not got a whole lot of reason to not go into my Tapu Fini here and just... unless he crits me, there's no way of him actually knocking me out here, so... yeah, it should be a 3-0 win. Because we still should then outspeed. It should outspeed with our Zygarde, even if there is, like, worst comes to worst, and if he does crit me here. Yeah, that's not going to do enough, and we are going to pick up the 3-0 win over Jorge. I think it definitely could have been easier if we did lose the Heatran early on. That really sucked. But I think I made the right plays after, like, I got my head in the game a little bit, because honestly at the start I was flustered from the fucking Heatran going down. But yeah, we're going to move to 3-2. Oh, we're -1, so +2. We're finding a plus differential after 5 games. We're making up for the real bad start of the season, but we are coming across some very difficult games in the next few. So yeah, good job that we're actually on a bit of a run going into it. Going into what I think is, like, probably our toughest few games of the season. I'm not sure if it's next week or a week after. Our games just become extremely difficult. So yeah, glad to have won that one. If you did enjoy the battle, then please do leave a like and subscribe. The support is greatly appreciated. And until next one, have a great day, guys. Peace.